To be honest with you, I like being mean.
But yet you can tell me that I'm beautiful and it's okay for me to gain weight no matter what. It's like a double standard.
Could have said something to ease the pain. Just a few words would have made a happy home again. We were dangling, about to fall. Every wall could tell a story. Every hallway calls your name. All the joy and pain, I'm sorry, I'm waiting for it.
Our family secret is that despite the fact that we're a very close-knit family and we grew up with two loving parents in the home, we were provided for and loved no matter what we did, that there still exists a mental illness in our family, which is anorexia. And I have anorexia.
She stopped eating, and she was around 13 or 14 years old. And Heidi, I think, was about the same height as she is right now. And she just stopped eating. There's nothing Paul and I could do to convince her to eat.
So I was always in competitive sports, and that culture there always promoted a certain body type in order to perform. And I was a performer, and I wanted to do well. I was a high achiever, so I wanted to do anything I could to be the best I could be. I started to be weighed by the coaches in figure skating when I was around the ages of 10 or 11.
It's a minute and a half solo at that age. I did not breathe for that length of time.
Yeah, I guess not.
And
They wouldn't even sit together.
Lou and I wouldn't even sit together.
That'd be tough to
I
watch.
couldn't.
I'd get
I
nervous.
couldn't sit beside him.
Mom would be in the dressing room with me, and she's pretty laid back, and she would go out there and break a leg, and just for fun. Like, she would always say that. Not that she wanted me to break a leg. So I was much more comfortable around being around my mom before a sport, because my dad, I think he was so anxious and nervous for me, and in his heart, he wanted me to do so well for me, because he knew how happy that made me. But I think as a kid, I didn't understand that, and all I sensed from him was anxiousness and seriousness, and that made me really nervous. And I always thought, oh, I don't want to let Dad down. In my third year at naturopathic college, I started to withdraw and isolate. I didn't have nearly as much fun as the rest of my classmates. I studied way, way more. They studied hard, but I mean, they knew when to stop and take a break and have a life. I said, I'm taking a year off. But at that point, I was so obviously sick and not well that they were all relieved.
She's gone to 5 years university and 3 years naturopathic college. I think she wants it. We're all a little afraid that she shouldn't go right now until she's fully recovered. And I'm willing to wait, but yes, I would like her to see her finish that.
I run a lot, and I don't feel good about myself unless I do run in a day. I run about an hour and a half a day. It's like a drug for me. It's been about 6 months now since I've been back running and maintaining my weight and maintaining the things I need to do in recovery, so I'm trying to find a balance.
If someone were to ask me, do you think your girlfriend is anorexic, I would have said, no, not at all. I just think she's healthy and eats healthy and exercises, and she's got it under control. I really thought that she had it under control, and sometimes she did, but for the most part, no, she didn't.
Because it is maybe like a lifetime thing that I have to cope with or deal with, I do get afraid that it could get out of hand. That I understand, and I know from personal experience that it has a lot of power. It holds a lot of power for me in my life.
It's a picture I took. I blended together of the Heidi before and the Heidi after recovery, and purposely made the Heidi after a little bit larger, because the new Heidi is capable of saying no to that little voice in her head all the time.
That's such a profound difference. I can't believe that.
Mm-hmm. So you put that up there on your wall somewhere, and just as a reminder, never to listen to that evil demon talking to you.
I don't know where I'm gonna hang in that though.
I don't know. It's up to you.
It's not the type of picture you're hanging. I know, in the spare room in that little.
Just
She is
somewhere where
genuinely the best person I've ever met. And I really mean that. She's kind, she's caring, she's loving, she's compassionate. She's just the best friend that you could ever ask for. She's so good for me.
you-
1986.
So
you're
how old was
12?
Heidi then?
I was 12 then?
Well, she was born in 74.
I love that dress.
Was that the little gray one, Heidi?
Yeah, that was the one when I pair skated with Scott.
I remember having that one made for you.
Watch this, Robbie. It's so funny. Oh, I love that sport.
You look older here.
I was already not well by then.
You can't force the child to eat.
We tried
We
forcing her, but it didn't work. She
I'm not hungry.
was old enough at that point, and
I've got homework to do.
yeah, it's hard to explain
Right.
to other parents, but
I'd
you
lie
just
to.
cannot force them to eat.
I remember one time, Mom asked me, I said, yeah, I had a peanut butter and jam sandwich. She goes, no, you didn't. And I said, yes, I did. She goes, there's no jam in the house.
Yeah. I see.
So she knew, because
You
she
always
knew the
get
grocery.
caught lying. It's not a good habit to get into.
Looking back now, the conversations going on in the dressing room are extremely toxic. How could you tell a 12-year-old child how to maintain your weight or mostly lose weight? They might as well have given me a death sentence.
Did you run this morning?
Yeah, I did.
And how long?
An hour.
Honestly?
Oh, it's hour 45.
I see you sliding back in your own behaviors. Did you eat before you went?
Coffee?
He'll eat like a 2 pieces of fruit for breakfast after a 2-hour run. I'm like, that's not enough.
I eat way more than that.
What'd you have today?
I had cereal and fruit.
How many pieces of fruit?
I had a banana and an orange.
This was probably about maybe 6 years ago. We stopped at a restaurant for lunch, and then Heidi only ordered 2 pieces of toast with a little bit of butter. And then when we got in the car on the way home, she started to cry, and she felt really, really bad for having just 2 pieces of toast. And when I think back to days like that, I mean, right there, that's a sign that this girl is sick.
Today is November 13th, the year to the day that I was discharged from the Homewood program. When you first start, when you come in for your first week, the table down there at the end is where you sit for the first couple of weeks, because that cushy chair there is where the supervisor sits, and they watch you. This is a typical lunch. For a salad this size, we used 1 dressing, and you had to use all of it. You only got 1 napkin. For me, it was difficult because my obsessive compulsive disorder was also compounding my eating disorder, which means everything had to be clean. Here, you had 35 minutes to eat all that food, but when time's up, time's up. And then they mark your name down after that I didn't finish in time. I felt like I had failed or been defeated. There was a lot of meals I cried through, but you have to keep eating. I was here from July 30th to November 13th. About 3.5 months almost exactly. I guess it went by fast looking back now, but it really seemed like forever when I was there. Oh my God. I remember just laying down here and I felt so exhausted that I just wished that I could fall asleep and never wake up. I wanted to die. I didn't want to actively kill myself, but I wanted to just, it all to go away. It's hard fighting an eating disorder. So sometimes I get tired of the fight. I think I surprised Rob a lot when I first moved in, because I wasn't as uptight as I was before I went to Homewood, and he kind of quite enjoyed, or at least he told me, living with me. So
I was pretty nervous about it.
I know you were.
I obviously don't have an eating disorder, but I also have the fear of gaining weight. I like the way my body is now. It's always been like that, and I hope that it always is like that.
So skinny.
To be honest with you, I like being lean.
The fact that you being so thin would have a problem if you gained weight, but yet you can tell me that I'm beautiful and it's okay for me to gain weight no matter what. It's like a double standard.
But if
Why
I
would
gained
that be
weight,
okay for me and not okay for you?
It would be okay. It would have to be okay. I would deal with it. I mean, it's not like, you know, I wouldn't be able to deal with it. I would. I just wouldn't. I'd prefer not to. So much. I think this is ready. So should we serve it up? On that note?
Sure. I go see my therapist once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending how I'm doing.
How are you this week?
It's kind of a neat week. One of the girls that I used to work with in the summer, she was there visiting and she hasn't seen me since the summer. And she asked me, she said, "Heidi, you look thin. Have you lost weight?" Oh, and I stopped in my tracks.
Because this was a good thing or a bad thing?
Too good.
A year ago, you wouldn't have wanted to hear that you looked thin. And now, that comment made you so happy. Happier than it should have made you. Does that tell you something about your recovery?
Tells me the honeymoon phase is over.
Yeah. Welcome to the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
If this anniversary is bringing up for you ideas about who you are, and are you getting any clearer on that? Do you go back to school and finish so that you can have a practice? You know, do you go back to some kind of sports so that you can enter competitions and win and you know your place? Are you first? Are you second? Are you third? You don't get that day-to-day living. You don't get rated on what kind of partner you are, or how well you keep the house, or I don't know, maybe at your job you get rated on whether or not you're the best employee or the second best, but I doubt it. Yeah, so there's gonna have to be other ways of appreciating who you are that have nothing to do with your accomplishment or how you look.
I want other things.
Like what?
I want to have children in a few years. 3, 4, 5.
Children or years?
Years. Maybe children too. I'm not thinking that far. Hi, coffee for here? Can I get a coffee and a mug, please? 2 large Colombians? Yeah. Do you want me to transfer some of these for you? Are you having a medium house, Lee?
I am.
Nikki will get you set up over there. We're making about 75 sandwiches this morning. I think that I am still preoccupied with food. In fact, I know that I am. I don't just think I am. Those thoughts and preoccupations have been there since such a young age that after all these years of practicing that preoccupation, it's definitely hard to rid myself of. There you are. Rob and I are going to my parents tonight for to celebrate my 1-year anniversary of being healthy.
Your arms are full. Hi, Rob.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
Good. This is the last time we bring her on.
Are you sure? Hi, honey. How are you
I'm not 100%
doing?
sure, but
Good.
Good.
pretty sure.
Congratulations, huh?
Hi. Thank you.
Bring it in here.
Rob, what happened with those washing machines?
Oh, you guys are warm. Well, that's a good hug.
Well, this is your 1-year celebration, huh?
Yeah, well,
Oh my God, they decorated! I didn't know you guys would decorate.
well, sure. How often
I was thinking of going back to the school, to the college, in the next couple weeks on my day off or whatever, to figure out how it feels there, to gain some sort of intuitive knowledge about how I feel there. And do you wanna come with me?
You'd probably have to give me some guarantees and assure us you wouldn't devote 100% of your time to your schoolwork.
It's scary to even think of being able to give a guarantee that I'm not gonna get caught up in it. I've never done it any other way.
That's right.
The Lord, amen.
Amen.
Vegetables.
It's wonderful to see you put that on your plate, Heidi, and actually eat it all.
It's nice to see you have dessert. Normally you wouldn't even be here.
It is. Normally what she would do just sometimes is, when there was a little bits on the plate, is take a little bit off
a little bit, yeah.
Yes.
That'd be about it.
What I remember about Heidi eating is she'd have a big bowl of this really gorgeous looking food, lots of vegetables, everything.
Vegetables and stuff.
And then she'd get her fork and it'd be like a hockey stick and she'd be stick handling. 2 hours later, you know, hardly anything would be eaten from the top.
Right.
That always makes a hockey joke out of it.
Wow.
Look at that. Can you clean that up a little?
When did the runner become a figure skater?
Actually, when did the figure skater become the runner? That's more like it. This is like more than 10 years ago that I did this sport.
Those are pretty bad.
I miss not having become a professional figure skater, especially after last winter, after the Olympics. It made me think a little bit about if I hadn't quit, how far could I have gone? All my running years, my hamstrings are so stiff. Ugh, I used to be able to do that so well and so easily. Oh, hey, that's a little better.
Fire's gonna be for Heidi's burning of some of her old bad memories.
Which ones do you think we should use for the ritual, Mom? You pick.
Well, I think, Heidi, you look pretty, pretty thin there.
We've got the biking one.
Yeah.
We've got the running one.
How about that very, very nice warm summer day and Heidi was all bundled up with a scarf on?
Yeah.
You weren't well right then.
No, I was. That's actually just before I went to Homewood, right?
Well, about a month and a half before.
Biking, running, studying, and being cold.
Right.
That's pretty much what I did. Katerina, I forget even how to say her last name, but she was my idol, and she was a tiny thing of like 80 pounds. And I thought, if I want to skate like her and I want to be like her, I have to weigh as much as her or look like her. And I mean, my dad was obviously impressed when he was watching it, so I thought, oh, wow, she impresses my dad. So I want to impress my dad too.
It was her first marathon, which is over 26 miles, and she ended up being third in all the ladies. She thought, okay, I came in third in this race. Maybe if I get a little thinner, maybe I can do a little bit better. I would take her for runs, and she couldn't even stand up. And I remember she, just back on the highway back there, she just fell down and she scraped herself all to heck, and I knew she was too weak, but she just kept on running. But I think that maybe we caused some of this, and that's a tough thing to get over. Hey, Paula, we're ready, Heidi.
Hey, come on, Robbie.
You were put here on Earth because you are special, and that I wish you could see. I, for one, could not live without you. You mean so much to me. You are truly a terrific person, a star that never fails to shine through. Please know that I am here, especially when you're feeling blue.
Oh, Heidi, you've always been special. You gotta remember that.
You get to burn that off. Never to be cold again, right?
That's right.
Yay. You want to go next?
Yeah, I can go next. This photograph that was taken right in here. I watched Heidi waste away many hours on this wind trainer, and I'm glad to see this go.
To me, studying all the time, sick and skinny. We got this far. Today I'm going to the Naturopathic College in Toronto to check out my options for continuing my last year at school.
It's not an issue if you don't go back to school. When you decided to finish the end of your third year, of course we knew you were really sick by then. We thought it was like really too bad that, you know, you did have one more year left to go, but if it means your health, fourth year is a non-issue.
Yeah, I think Dad is a little more worried about it.
He's often said, if you don't go back, you don't go back. As long as you're healthy.
Yeah.
If you're having fun and enjoying the coffee shop, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There isn't. We need people to run coffee shops too.
Hi again. I'm good. It's been a while.
It has been a while. So where are you now?
Feeling like May is a
Yeah?
good time. Yeah.
We'll definitely have sort of a smooth transition back into your being a full-time student. So we wouldn't expect you to just hop right in and, oh yeah, I remember everything I learned you know, from a year and a half ago.
That sounds so great.
Oh, good.
Way more than I expected.
Good.
That went really good today, Heidi.
I'm afraid about going back to school, definitely. Very frightened. I think in time, though, my confidence may grow in myself and my ability to stay recovered while I'm at school and to balance my life the way I want to.
Could have said something to ease the pain. Just a few words would have made a happy home again. We were dancing